Hi and welcome to another tutorial. I'll be showing you a fantastic crochet technique that keeps all of your double crochet stitches on the front of your work. This means when you get to the end of the row, you don't need to turn your work over and you can start all of your rows from this side because you have raffia on this side all the time. This technique creates super neat and consistent stitches, and personally I think it's a must know if you're following my tutorials because I use it a lot in my designs, especially when I make small pieces. And here I want to show you two examples. I made both of them using this technique. Okay, let's get started. I'm using raffia and the hook size is 3.5 millimeters. When working double crochet stitches, I recommend that you steam your raffia before you start your project because it makes your double crochet stitches look nicer and fluffier. First, you need to make a foundation with any number of chains that you want, but remember to use a stronger version of foundation and not simple chains. I'm going to make a foundation of 20 chains. I have a foundation of 20 chains now. After your foundation is ready, you need to chain 2. 1 and 2. Simple chains. These 2 chains is going to work as your first double crochet stitch. Next, yarn over, insert your hook into the second chain of your foundation. This is the first one and this is the second one. Insert your hook here and pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. After you have the 3 loops ready on your hook, you can start the technique. Make a big U like this with your raffia. Grab this end and put it here. Like this. So now I have this yarn, you see this one, and I'm going to call it my working yarn because I work with it. I make my stitches with this. And I also have this yarn here and I'm going to call it traveling yarn because I don't work with it. It doesn't do anything. It just travels along with us. So we have working yarn here and traveling yarn here. You need to put your traveling yarn between your hook and your working yarn here. Okay? And then work a double crochet stitch like this. Okay, the 2 chains is my first double crochet stitch and this is the second one. Let's do it one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook and pull up a loop. Make sure that the traveling yarn is between your working yarn and your hook here. And then work another double crochet stitch. Okay, now you have to make sure that you can easily pull your traveling yarn on both sides like this. Okay, I'm going to do a few more without talking. Every time your yarn becomes short on this side, you can easily pull it and make it longer. You can make it as long as you want. Keep working double crochet stitches all the way across until you make it to the end, and I'll meet you at the end. I arrived here and I have only one chain left in my foundation. Before moving ahead, you need to pull raffia on both sides and make sure that you can move it easily. All right? Okay. Now insert your hook here into the last chain of your foundation. Put your traveling yarn on your hook like this. Use your working yarn and pull up a loop like this. One common mistake that people do is to work their traveling yarn at the end instead of their working yarn. You can't use your traveling yarn because if you use it, it gets stuck and you wouldn't be able to pull it easily. So make sure that you use your working yarn. All right, now you have a loop here, pull up another loop. Now you have something like a chain and 2 loops on your hook. Next, pull through 2 loops at the same time. Now you have 2 chains here. I normally use 2 chains at the end of my row and 2 chains at the beginning of my row. We finished the first row, but we have a very big loop here, but no problem because you can easily pull your yarn on the other side and boop, the loop is gone. Okay, now remove your hook and put a stitch marker here. Here, tighten it a little bit. Very important tip, make sure that when you pull your yarn on this side, don't make it too tight. Actually, the yarn should be kind of loose and relaxed in your work. If you pull your yarn too tight, then you would end up having a distorted panel. If you want a nice and flat panel, you should make sure that your raffia is loose, relaxed, and easy in your work. Now let's begin row 2. We started row 1 with 2 chains. Do you remember? These are the 2 chains. Insert your hook into the second one here and pull up a loop. Then chain 2, 1 and 2. These 2 chains count as your first double crochet stitch. All right? So before we move ahead, I want to show you where to insert your hook to make double crochet stitches in the second row. You need to insert your hook right here under these 2 bars. You can find them right on top of your previous double crochet stitches. After you make 2 chains, yarn over, insert your hook under these 2 bars and pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Go ahead and do the same thing that we did in row 1. Make a big U. Put your traveling yarn here and work a double crochet stitch using your working yarn. I'm going to do a couple of them silently. Now that you know how this technique works, I want to tell you 2 tips to make your double crochet stitches look nice, consistent, and neat when working with raffia. Tip number 1. When you do the yarn over, make sure that raffia is flat on your hook, like this. If your raffia is twisted like this on your hook, you wouldn't have nice looking stitches. So you need to have raffia flat on your hook when you do the yarn over. Insert your hook here, pull up a loop. Okay, tip number 2. After you have your loops ready on your hook, you need to put the hook under the raffia here. If you put your hook on top of your raffia like this is not correct, this is wrong. So make sure that your hook is under your raffia. Okay, and pull through 2 loops. Again, put your hook under raffia and pull through 2 loops. Let's do it one more time. Yarn over with raffia flat on your hook. After you have 3 loops, put your hook under your raffia, pull through 2, put the hook under raffia, pull through 2 more. I'm going to do a couple of them silently. If you follow these 2 tips, then you will have a neat and consistent double crochet stitches. Alright, keep doing this all the way across until you make it to the end, and I'll meet you there. I arrived at the end of the row where the stitch marker is. Remove the stitch marker and insert your hook here where you had the stitch marker. Put the traveling yarn on your hook and use your working yarn, pull up a loop. Now you have something like 1 chain here and 2 loops on your hook. Pull through 2 loops at the same time. Now you have something like 2 chains again, and this works as your last double crochet stitch. Okay. Pull your raffia on the other side and whoop, the big loop is gone. After the big loop is gone, remove your hook, insert a stitch marker here and tighten it a little bit. Please remember not to pull this raffia too tight. We finish row 2 and this is what our work looks like. For the subsequent rows, you need to repeat what we did in row 2. I'm going to do a few more rows and show you the result. I did a few more rows and this is what my work looks like. This would be a very good panel for making purses, especially small purses with raffia. And if you want to make your panel stiffer and stronger, then you can use 2 strands of yarn instead of 1 when you crochet. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching and see you soon with another tutorial.